My husband ditched me and our kids for some young waitress. But behind the heartbreak, there's a wild ride of secrets, a sneaky affair, a fake pregnancy, and a crash that flipped everything upside down. It was one of those dark, stormy nights that just felt wrong. I was pacing by the living room window, watching rain pound the glass, my stomach in knots, for no reason I could pin down. It was midnight, and Mark still wasn't home. His jacket was on the hook, but his phone, usually left on the kitchen counter, was gone. He's just stuck at work, I kept telling myself. But my heart was racing like it knew something I didn't. When his truck's headlights finally lit up the driveway, I let out a breath, but that relief vanished the second he walked in. His eyes were blank, like the life had been sucked out of him. He wouldn't look at me, just fiddled with his keys. "Emily, we gotta talk," he said, his voice cold as the wind outside. My knees went weak. "What's wrong, Mark?" I asked, but I could feel the answer coming. He stepped back, like he was scared of me, and then he dropped it. "I'm leaving." I fell for someone else. Her name's Lila. That name, Lila, hit me like a punch. Lila, the 25-year-old waitress from his favorite coffee shop. Her laugh, her red lipstick, her life free from our mortgage, school runs, and 12 years of marriage. I grabbed the couch to keep from falling, my head spinning with questions. When? Why? How did I miss this? The soup I'd left on the stove was cold, just like my heart. That night, after Mark grabbed a bag and left, I sat alone, clutching our wedding photo from Santorini, where we were laughing by the sea. How did we end up here? The weeks after he left were a blur of pain. I'd wake up at 3 a.m., my pillow soaked, replaying every second of our marriage. Was I too caught up with the kids, Sophie, 9, and Ethan, 6? Did I miss the signs? His late nights, new cologne, the phone he suddenly locked? I'd stare in the mirror, seeing a stranger, 38, with crow's feet and a heart in pieces. What was wrong with me? Why wasn't I enough? The kids were my lifeline and my heartbreak. Sophie would ask, "Why doesn't Daddy live here anymore?" Her big brown eyes begging for answers I didn't have. Ethan was quieter, clinging to me at night, whispering, "Is it my fault?" I'd hug them tight, lying that everything would be okay, even though I didn't believe it. Our house, once full of family dinners and games, felt like a ghost town. I went through the motions, cooking, shopping, but every step felt like dragging chains. My friends tried to help. Sarah, my college buddy, dragged me out for coffee, saying, "You gotta move on." But dating? It felt like betraying the old Emily, the one who believed in forever. My sister Claire pushed therapy, but I couldn't imagine spilling my guts to a stranger. Instead, I'd scroll through Lila's socials, her perfect selfies and carefree posts cutting me like a knife. 3 months later, things took a turn. I was in the grocery store, tossing cereal in my cart, when I ran into Mark's sister, Rachel. She hugged me, her eyes soft with pity. "Emily, he's not himself," she whispered. "Lila, she's not who he thinks." Her words sparked something. Was their fling already falling apart? That night, Rachel texted, "Can we talk? Alone?" We met at this dingy diner, all greasy fries and flickering lights. She spilled the tea. Lila wasn't just a fling. Their affair had been going on for almost a year. Lila pushed him to leave me. But the real kicker? "She's pregnant," Rachel said, barely audible. "Mark doesn't know, but she's planning to trap him with it." I felt like I'd been slapped. Pregnant? The word ripped me apart. I wanted to scream, to confront Mark, But Rachel stopped me. "He's starting to see through her," she said. "He's been asking about you and the kids. He's regretting it." Her words didn't comfort me. They burned. Regret? After he tore our family apart? I drove home, rain blurring my windshield, my heart a mess. That night, I decided, I'm not letting this break me. I started small. Signed up for yoga, something I'd always wanted to try. That first class was rough. My body stiff, my mind all over the place. But moving felt like fighting back. I started journaling, pouring out my anger and tears. I wrote letters to Mark I'd never send, letters to Lila, letters to myself. Every word brought me closer to finding my voice. But the surprises kept coming. One Saturday, while helping Sophie with homework, the doorbell rang. It was Mark. Scruffy, eyes red, looking wrecked. The kids ran to him, their joy stabbing my heart. He hugged them, then looked at me. "Can we talk?" he asked, his voice shaky. We stepped onto the porch, the kids' laughter inside clashing with our silence. "I messed up Emily," he said, hands trembling. "Lila's not who I thought. She's controlling, manipulative. I miss you guys." Then he hit me with it. "She says she's pregnant, but I don't even know if it's mine. I'm so lost." I wanted to feel smug, but all I felt was emptiness. "You chose this," I said, my voice steady, despite the storm inside. "You broke us." He nodded, tears streaming down his face, and I saw the guy I used to love, the one who promised me forever. The next few months were a roller coaster. Mark started therapy, trying to be a dad again. He showed up for soccer games, school plays, his eyes always searching mine for forgiveness. I wasn't ready to let him back in, but I let him be there for the kids. They needed that. Then came a big twist. One night, as I tucked Ethan in, he handed me a crumpled note. "Dad gave me this for you," he said quietly. My hands shook as I opened it. Mark's messy handwriting. "Emily, I don't deserve forgiveness. I hate myself for what I did to you and the kids. Lila's gone. She admitted the baby wasn't mine. But this isn't about her. You're the strongest person I know, and I took you for granted. I'm not asking to come back, but I'll spend my life making this right. For you, Sophie, Ethan, I love you. Always have." I sat there, note in hand, torn between burning it and crying for the life we had. Our late-night talks, his goofy songs for the kids. I didn't know if I could trust him again, but I knew I had to keep going. Healing wasn't easy. Some days I felt like a badass, unstoppable. I picked up painting again, something I ditched after college. My canvases were wild, bold reds, deep blues, all my heart spilled out. Other days, a random song or a couple holding hands would hit me hard. But I kept at it. I joined a support group for women who'd been betrayed, and meeting Maria, who'd been through the same crap, made me feel less alone. Her laugh reminded me joy was still out there. Then, one freezing February night, everything changed. I was driving home from the group, the kids at my parents', when my phone kept buzzing with an unknown number. I pulled over, annoyed, and answered. "Emily Harper, this is Nurse Carter from St. Mary's Hospital. Mark's been in an accident. He's in critical condition." My world stopped. "Ex-husband," I corrected, but it felt hollow. A drunk driver had smashed into his car after a therapy session. "He's asking for you," the nurse said. I wanted to say no, to leave him to deal with his mess, but something, maybe the kids, maybe our past, pushed me to the hospital. The ICU was all beeps and cold white walls. Mark was hooked up to tubes, his face bruised and swollen. I sat by him, picturing Sophie and Ethan. His eyes opened and he whispered, "Emily, I'm sorry." "Why?" I asked, tears falling. "You were always enough," he said, squeezing my hand weakly. "For a week, I bounced between the hospital and home. The drunk driver didn't make it. Mark did, but he was banged up bad. Broken ribs, punctured lung, fractured leg. The kids visited, their questions killing me. Will Dad be okay? I promised to protect them, no matter what. That accident made me face feelings I'd buried. I hated Mark, but seeing him so broken reminded me of who he used to be. I started sketching him in the hospital, trying to make sense of it all. Then, one night, Lila showed up. "I heard about the crash," she said, her red lipstick out of place. "I lied about the baby. I'm sorry." I snapped, "You didn't just hurt me, you hurt our kids." She cried and left, and I never saw her again. Mark recovered slowly, moving back to his own place. The accident changed him. He was quieter, volunteering, trying to be a better dad. I realized forgiving wasn't about him. It was about me, letting go. I forgave myself for thinking I wasn't enough. I dove into my art, landing a gallery show. The night of the opening, the place was buzzing, Sophie and Ethan beaming with pride. Mark stood in the back, his eyes saying, "I see you. I love you." Standing by my favorite painting, a stormy sea with one ray of light, I felt whole. I was Emily, mom, artist, survivor. I was alive again. Betrayal can break you, but it can also rebuild you. It taught me to love myself, chase dreams I'd forgotten, and hold my kids tight. Forgiving Mark wasn't about him, it was my freedom. What do you think? Should I have forgiven him? Have you been through betrayal? Share your story. Let's lift each other up.